I don't think there's any cover-up here. However, after a few years, I've also learned that there's no big business in my industry, which is why I went back to work. I used to be a teacher, I used to be a coach, I used to be a salesperson. I remember when I started doing business, you had to handle a lot of things on your own. Later, I entered the stage of successology, let everyone do something different. Today, not only am I the face of my business, but I also do the work myself. Most of the activities are scaled through things like these kinds of videos, recordings, books, or other products. I'm definitely not ashamed that this is or will be a business. When you produce an event, a party, or a film, all of that costs money. So I think this activity doesn't have an entertainment character. If someone wants to have a laugh, of course they're welcome, because every smile, every bit of laughter is important. However, this field of personal development, financial development, as I see it, I think it's going to be tough training. But what I was missing, what was definitely lacking in real estate, definitely in business, was a voice that goes against the mainstream. So I don't want to hide anything here. I do this professionally, but I feel a strong sense of mission, and I know that 80% of it will be about my own fulfillment, my mission, but to some extent, when it comes to digital or physical products like books or events, it will simply be business. Fortunately, my team will be the ones handling those. James Middle on the international stage. Is this a rebranding? I don't think so. I think it's a continuation of what I've been doing since 2017-18 in my own country. I'm very curious to see how it will turn out. I am full of humility. It's easy to rest on your laurels. It's easy to be strong in your own backyard. It's even easy to stop and live off the fact that I was once strong in my own backyard. I think that in this intellectual field, I don't want to argue with any authority from America, Canada, or Australia, or any global authority. They have their place, they've accomplished a lot. However, as someone from Central Europe with a difficult start, I would like to show something that we've done a really good job. Slovaks, Czechs, Poles, Lithuanians, and that things are truly going better here than ever before in history. I wanted to tell this story, and I think that the countries that have already passed their peak, those are the ones facing problems today. Those are the ones, those societies might be spoiled. Those are the ones that may have, in a way, lost their direction. We are on that upward wave. At this moment, we are catching up, making up for lost time, or have even overtaken others, and I want to share this story. I think that many people will be at a similar stage because we are all human. Things have become so globalized that the problems a Japanese person faces today are very similar to those faced by a Brazilian. The kind of criticism I received in my own country, I don't think I'll ever face such criticism again, despite the good I wanted to share. I also think this is because it's easy to criticize people in your own environment. So I invite not only criticism, but above all, I invite discussion. How is it for you? How is it for you all? How do we differ mentally? How do we differ in terms of worldview? Because you live in a different part of the world. I'm speaking to you here. My dear viewer, if I say something stupid, which does happen, please go ahead and correct me. I want to invite you to discussion and ask you whether you're heading in the right direction, rather than telling you where you should go. However, I will show you the direction I'm heading in, what I'm working on, what I'm not working on, and which methods have helped me and thousands or even tens of thousands of people who have taken this path. I don't know. We don't know whether a person is good or not. Often, when creating a product, even a digital one or a physical product, not even, I just want to share the content that I was missing and no American author ever gave it to me. Those were completely different times and spaces. You can't compare the content of self-development textbooks, which were unfortunately written largely for corporations 30 years ago, to 2026 and the world we live in today, because this world is completely different. The individual in this world is completely different. The tools have changed. The possibilities have changed. And I think that precisely because the start was difficult, it will be easier for me to reach people who today either want to start or are already 3 or 4 steps ahead, so to speak, of their surroundings, want to go further, or simply can't stop. This language is very universal. I've traveled the world for the past 25 years. I've been to every continent in dozens of countries. I've been there many times on vacation, and I've done business there. So I more or less know that we are very similar. It's not like 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago when civilizations clashed. Today, in reality, we have one big world, one big voice. And I also believe that I will meet many fantastic people by talking about the fact that I am also searching for a certain path. And perhaps someone else from the country will reach out, someone who has already done what I have, has practiced it, has an investment, an idea, a concept, a method. I will gladly take advantage of that. That's how it happened with us. Does it matter? It may seem like it doesn't. However, the Slavs are a powerful group, a group of 200 to 300 million people with a truly difficult history. Representatives of the Slavs live all over the world, win Nobel Prizes, manage giant corporations, make fortunes, and win Olympic medals at World Championships. So I believe that we are Vikings. Not Vikings of Europe, but Vikings of the world on the rise. We can boast that, unlike what I see in many other places, despite the complaints in our country about roads, cars, standard of living, the pace of development, the expansion of domestic brands into foreign markets is currently tremendous. This is a complex we need to overcome. That's exactly what I want to try, to confront my own complexes. Am I worthy of talking about my small successes in my own backyard? Or about my reflections in some investment, intellectual or business context? However I want to face this, it's perhaps not a trauma, but definitely a challenge that I've been putting off the last 2 or 3 years. Today is the day. So let's begin, and here's a big invitation to discussion. Is capitalism heading in the right direction? Is humanity heading in the right direction? Is civilization heading in the right direction? Or is it not worth it to go back to our roots? And not by lowering our standard of living at all, but actually, I believe, by raising that standard, by telling ourselves more often that enough is better than more. Being more grateful for what we have rather than always wanting. More and more every day. I would like to balance these forces. I would like you to be able to have more and enjoy it, but for that ambition not to consume your very being, it's difficult to reconcile, but I think it's possible. Just like sensible training. You can train yourself to death, break your arms, or you can train for 20 to 30 years. You can drink wine on Fridays and Saturdays your whole life, or you can drink yourself to death by the age of 21 years old. So everything is for people. Money is for people. Travel is for people. However, doing it wisely seems to me the most rational and logical approach. Not minimalism, not maximalism, but middleism.